Hello and welcome to this episode of Simply Saturday. Today we are going to make our card with these pieces of scrap designer series paper and scrap cardstock. We are going to do our die cutting here as we go, which sometimes I don't. I do it ahead of time, but you're going to see me do the die cutting and we're going to put together our quick and easy card. My name is Julie and this is Stamp with Julie Baum. All right, the paper that we're using will not be a surprise to you. I've used this paper quite a bit in several different tutorials, and this is the Reindeer Days Designer Series paper. Now, a lot of the papers in here, because it's called Reindeer Days, features different prints with reindeer, and I have used a lot of those. Today, I'm using some lesser used papers, including this one, and then this is what I would call the B side. So all of these are what I would consider the B side of the paper, and those are what I've chosen to use. Then I also have some real red cardstock scraps, some granny apple green, some garden green, and the dies that I'll be using are these circle dies, which are part of the Stylish Shapes die set. And these are a current annual catalog item, so these are available and they are in stock as of today. So if you're looking for those dies, I will put a link to this information below this video. All right, my card base is a piece of real red cardstock. It is 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it down the center at 4 1/4, a very common way to create a card base. We are going to turn the card this way today though and have it open like so. All right, so then I also have a white layer, and my white layer is 4 inches by 5 1/4. This is going to go here. Our die cut pieces are going to get laid on top, and we're going to add a quick greeting. Let's get started. All right, so I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. As I said, a lot of times I don't do the die cutting as I'm filming just to save time, and it's also kind of bulky to bring into the camera view, but we are going to do it today because I am going to show you how we're just going to cut a bunch of circles and then create with them. So I've got my platforms. I have my number 1 platform. The number 2 is on top of that. And then I'll be using 2 number 3 pieces. These are the acrylic plates. So one on the bottom and one will go on the top. This is a very standard way to build your sandwich or your layers for die cutting. All right, then we're going to do several die cuts at the same time. So I'm going to place some of these designer series papers on here. I'm not going to force it and fit the 4th one. We'll do a separate one for that, but we'll go ahead and do these 3. And I'm going to choose 3 sizes of my circles. So let's pull those out. And all right, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 6 sizes of circle. I'm not going to use the largest 2. So I'm going to use the smaller ones. And let's just begin to build. So I'm going to use the larger one on my trees, the next one down, I think on the lights. Let's do a smaller one here. Look, it's going to cut out that package. And then I think I can squeeze this cardstock piece in here and we'll just do a plain small circle. Okay, so we're going to start with that. We're going to probably repeat this step 2 more times to get all of our circles. All right, I'm going to cover up everything that we've laid in place with my top plate and run this all the way through the die cut machine. Okay, I'm going to move this for a moment and then I'll bring it right back so we can go again. But let's take this apart and pull out the circles that we've already cut. All All right, we have that one and that one. There's our tiny red circle. The lights. All right, let's get this prepared and go again. We'll change it up a little bit this time, and this will give us lots of options when we go to put the card together. All right, I think I will do another one of these, and I'll choose a smaller size this time. And then I'm actually going to do another small red, even though we're going to add some more cardstock. But let's do that same size small red one. And I want more packages as an option. So let's do the large one on there. I think that'll fit. We might have to go down one size. Okay, let's run that through. Where's my top plate? Then we'll get some jingle bells and some more solids. All right, and then I'm kind of creating a little stack over here of all of our pieces. You can see those. Now we've added this one, another small red, and this one. Okay, now I'm going to load this up with my cardstock solids. So I have garden green, and I will do this size and a small one, the smallest one. And then let's do granny apple green, and we'll cut a big one and this. Now I also wanted those jingle bells, so let's see how many more we can fit on here. This I could actually cut down if I needed to. Okay, we're going to slide that over. We're going to slide this over. I'm going to cut this green piece down so that we have a little bit more space. I could use a paper trimmer, but I'm just going to use some scissors and cut that down. There we go. Now I can fit my jingle bell paper on here and this one. All right, let's cut those out. And then I think I'll do one more pass, and that will give us so many circles we won't know what to do with all of them, but that will give us plenty to choose from. All right, we have now, adding to our collection, this piece and that. That. So what is happening here is I am going to actually be able to build multiple cards because I have so many options, but I just wanted all of these different pieces so that when we do the layout, we indeed do have options. All right, there's a lot of green going on, so I think what I'll do is cut out a little bit more red. And so I'll do a larger red circle from my cardstock. Let's see if we can go this size. All right, and then let's do one more of the jingle bells, maybe even the same size that we did before. All right, and then only because I have plenty of room on here, I'm going to throw this in with the tiny one. Okay, this is kind of fun, and you don't even have to have a plan. You're just taking all your little paper options and creating a bunch of die cut circles. All right, that's all the die cutting. I'm going to remove my machine from out of view of the camera so we have some space to work. And Let's take apart our layers here and pull out the rest of our die cuts. There we have it. Okay, this as well can get moved completely out of view, and now we'll build our card. Okay, you can see that I still ended up with some scraps that would be usable if I wanted to go back and do a few more die cuts to continue creating some cards. This one, that one's pretty used up. This one's pretty used up, but we got a lot of mileage out of those scraps. All right, this is going to be the layer that goes onto our card base, but this is where we're going to do our design. So what I'm going to do is begin playing with a layout of all of these die cuts. So I'm going to try this and this. We might have to play with it and move things around. I'm going to get some of these main ones on here that I want to make sure, meaning my pattern papers. I want to make sure that they get featured on here. How about that package? And what else do we have? All right, that's a repeat, so that's fine. Let's put some more jingle bells on here. How about our garden green piece here? And then let's see if we need any of these tiny red circles. I wonder what it would be like to add one of those on top of that solid. How about this one in here? And I'm feeling like this might work, like so. All right, I think that is pleasant looking. We actually used more than I even expected, so we've got a few left over for another card. Now what I'm going to do is glue those into place. So with them kind of sitting there so that I don't forget what I've designed, and you know what would be a great idea is you could take a photo of your layout at this point. That way, when you start taking pieces off to add the adhesive and put them back on, you can refer back to your photo if you're worried about messing up your layout. But what I'm going to do is leave a bunch in place, and for instance, I'm going to start here, glue my red one. Oh, come on, glue. It's just waking up for the first time today. Onto that green one. I know it kind of went like that. And then I'm going to put my glue on here. Now, I'm going to reach for one extra accessory that's going to be really helpful. It's not super, I guess, necessary, but it will be helpful as you're building, and that is the silicone sheet, the little silicone craft sheet. This is going to go under this piece so that if any of my glue ends up sticking out past the white cardstock, it's not going to stick to my surface. Okay, I should have done this before. You can clearly see that. Okay, let me bring in my craft sheet and put this card onto it. There we go. All right, so this one was going to go like that. Okay, so any extra glue that is on the back of that green circle is now going onto the silicone mat, which is not a problem because it just dries up and balls off. Okay, this is going to go next. I think we're okay to put that one on. And it overlapped the green a bit. Okay. Let's put this red one on next, and then we'll add that one on top of it. Now you can see that the edges of several of these circles are hanging off. Those of you who have been crafting for a long time already know what I'm going to do with that, but if you don't know, just stick with me because it will become evident here in just a moment. I kind of want that one hanging off as well. I don't have any mat under there, but that's not going to be a problem. Okay, that is working nicely. Now let's get this one in place. It is not going to hang off at all. This red one I like hanging off the bottom corner. All right, how are we doing with our original design? Pretty close, I think. Okay, it looks like we need to come in and get this green one in place. It's going to hang off the right side a teeny bit. So if you're following along and crafting with me today, you may have different size circles, different papers, different colors, but as you can see, it doesn't even matter. You're just going to take the concept and kind of create as you go with what you've got. This one, let's see, this one's going to be on, so let's let this one hang off a teeny bit. I want my strands kind of straight. That seems important. All right, let's get the red Jingle Bells number 2 on here. And what do we still need to do? We need to come back and put this guy, oh, I must be sticky, into place. So let's do that there. I like the little bit of white space that we've got. I think it looks pleasant. So we're going with it. Look how fun. We didn't really need anything except our circle dies and some paper scraps. All right, that is all glued into place. And I'm gonna pick it up. Again, any extra glue went onto here, and this will just dry and ball up and go away. So the nice thing is I did not get any glue on my stamping surface or on your desk or whatever you have going on there. I'm gonna take some regular scissors and I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna flip this over and I'm gonna cut right along the edge of my white piece. So I'm removing the edges of those circles. You can see what's gonna happen here. It's gonna look really full and overflowing. You can tell that it's a circle shape, but it's fallen off the edge and it looks really good. A little side note, your scissors are gonna get sticky from this process because you're cutting very potentially where there's been some glue. And so you can take, if you have just like some Goo Gone, you can use that on the blades of your scissors. Often I will reach, I've told you this before, for these little alcohol prep pads, and I'll just clean the blades of my scissors very carefully with one of these. These will also go a long way, cleaning your stamp blocks, even your glass mat surface if it gets sticky. I grab those prep pads all the time, and I have a whole stack of them here in my crafting drawer. All right, so I'm finishing up cutting the edges of those circles off. We've got 2 more. And look, we're creating a little design here on the scissors. There we have it. All right, there is our panel with all those interesting circles and the really cute patterns from the designer series paper. Let's get this attached to here. Aren't you already imagining? Okay, you can do a Valentine's card or a birthday card or an all occasion card. Just depends on what designer series paper and cardstock colors that you have and want to create with. All right, that is looking good. Now, I will mention that the colors were easy to coordinate. I looked at the package of paper from Reindeer Days designer series paper, and on the back of the package is always an insert with your paper, and it tells you all of the colors that are part of those prints. So it was easy to pull real red, garden green, and granny apple green cardstock colors because I know that that's already included there in the designer series paper. The coordination is simply wonderful and it makes it very easy to do your creating. All right, there is our card front. Let's add a simple Merry Christmas wish. So again, I just have scraps of cardstock. on the white one, I'm going to stamp Merry Christmas, and we need to decide what color. We could obviously do black, or we have 3 clear choices: real red, garden green, or granny apple green. I think I'll use a backing piece of the granny apple. So let's go with red. And my red ink pad is in a bin for a project. Hold on, let me grab it. My ink pads live right over here in a stacker, and they're easy to grab. But because we just used this real red ink pad at club a couple days ago, it was still sitting in the club bin. So I just had to go get it. All right, we've got Merry Christmas and the real red ink pad. I did not mount my stamp very straight, so I'm going to make sure that when I stamp it, that at least the words look straight. And then I have a feeling we'll trim this down, back it with our granny apple green piece, and we will be just about done. All right, I love the script in that. That stamp is from, now let me get this right. The paper is called Reindeer Days, and the coordinating stamp set, and there is a bundle available, is Reindeer Fun. So this Merry Christmas is from Reindeer Fun. All right, and then either take your paper snips or regular scissors. I'm just going to trim this down. Yes, you could use your paper trimmer, and by the time I'm done, I might wish that I had, because I'm not going to be able to cut as straight as I would if I used my trimmer. But this is working just fine. When I'm doing a cut that's a little bit larger instead of a tiny little snip, sometimes I will grab for full-sized scissors. I will mention too, these are sticky from that, so they weren't gliding along very easily. All right, there we have the words. I'm going to stick it right here onto my green piece. And then we'll do a little flag edge. What do you call it? I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Do you call it a banner edge, or a flag, or a pennant, or a dovetail? There's lots of terms. I'd be curious what you call it. You can leave me a comment and let me know what you call the little shape that we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to not use these anymore because they are sticky. Let me get my paper snips. And I'm going to trim this down, leaving some room. And trim this down. Again, it would be great to reach for your paper trimmer if you wanted to do this trimming. All right, now right here, I'm going to make this little shape. I do it by snipping in the center, then going from the corner right to the snip mark that I already started with. And then you can either come in this way, or sometimes I'll just flip my project over. That way I'm not cutting the opposite way, I'm cutting the same way. All right, there's the shape. That's what I want you to leave me a comment. Let me know if you call that a flag, a banner, a pennant, or a dovetail. All right, let's find where this looks best on our card. It could go in a number of places. I kind of think right there is going to work. I'm going to use a couple of dimensionals to pop that up. And I happen to have minis closest within reach, so I'm going to use 4 minis. I think 2 or 3 regular size would have worked on a word strip of this size, but my minis were handy, so I grabbed those. Let's get the backings peeled off. Ooh, those little guys are stubborn. Get that last one off. Well, I guess we know they stick well, don't we? All right, there we go. All right, let's just get this into place. And at that point, I would say that you could be completely finished, not add one more thing, but I want to add some bling. So I brought my rhinestones in, and we're gonna add a couple of those to finish this off. So I'm gonna add a small one here. I'm going to do a series of 3 kind of in a uneven triangle. So I'm going to put another one here. So from here to here, and then one down here. And I think I'll use a larger one, a medium-sized one for that 3rd and final one. And there, just building from a bunch of die-cut circles, we have our cute fast and easy card. Now, if you want to, you could place a white panel on the inside. If you do, I would recommend 4" by 5 1/4, or you could just go ahead and leave this one red. As long as you use a nice black pen or marker when you write, it'll show up just fine. And that is our Simply Saturday card for the day. Thanks so much for watching, and do be sure and open the description box below this video where I put all kinds of helpful info for you. See you next time.